Alright, today we're going to show you some tips and tricks on Project Delta. These are some things I wish that I knew when I first started and I couldn't really find information on it. So the first thing I would say is go to your settings, turn your saturation all the way up and your contrast all the way down. That's going to help you see at night like a lot better. Second thing is, if you hit escape and go to your Roblox settings, I like to turn down my graphics quality a couple bars. Not too much because then your stuff won't render, but if you turn it down just enough, you won't have as much grass from far away and it's easier to see players. It also cuts down on the fog a little bit. Alright, number 2 tip would be how to quick loot. So if there is something in a container, like these clothes, you come up to loot it. If you hold Z and then just click on everything, you can quick loot like that. You can put it both ways by holding Z. So you can put it in or out. That's going to help you loot a lot faster. Next tip, when you're looting bodies and stuff like that and you need to drop stuff really fast, you just hover and press R. See, just like that. Alright, the next tip would be the crafting. So there's a bit of crafting in this game. You can craft magazines, suppressors, meds. The biggest thing that you'll probably use the most here are meds, hands down. So we're going to start by crafting a couple meds. So to make a basic bandage, you need rags. So if you go in your inventory and you have some clothes, you right click and hit tear. Now I have the 2 rags I need. So now I can go back to crafting and it's 3 rags, sorry. Let me do this. Tear. Now I can go back to crafting, craft one of these. There you go. Now, in order to craft one of these, you need 2 of those bandages, which I have. But it also says you need a modification station. So when it says that, you need to go to the workbench, open that, then go to crafting. Now I can craft one of these. So the workbench will be needed for a bunch of recipes. See, now it will craft. If I wasn't in the workbench, it would not work. That goes for like some of these magazines and stuff, like requires modification station. Anytime it says modification station, you will need a workbench to complete. You can also find these workbenches in raid, so just keep an eye open for them. Alright, the next tip will be the vending machines. So if you just eat and drink and fill up at these vending machines for a small price, I find that I never really have to carry food in raids. I mean, it's readily available everywhere, so you really don't need to carry it in raids. But if I just do this after every raid, I'm good to go. I never have to worry about eating and drinking. So if that's like an issue and you don't want to have to bother with eating and drinking because it's time consuming, just do this after every raid. You'll be all right. Maybe even every 2 raids. All right, next on the list will be your vault and your traders. When you're in the metro like I am, you will find the vault manager. Your vault is going to be really small at first. You have to earn money in game and pay to upgrade the vault. So if you walk up to the vault and open it, this guy will also give you missions. You see, I can upgrade for, if I press 2, I can finish a mission because I had a mission yesterday. Now I can ask him for a new mission. All right. Now I go into my storage. See, this is my storage. It's going to be really small for you at first. You will come with some pistols and stuff like that. So, use it up. Anyways, on to the other traders. So if you go here, this guy is to teleport you into raid. There are 2 of these guys. There's this one here and then one in the back, but we're going to move on to the traders. We'll come back to him. Over here in this office, this is called the boss. The boss he's unlockable. You have to unlock him in order to be able to trade with him. He doesn't sell anything, but you can sell like all your valuables to him for a lot more than everyone else will. At first, you'll have to just sell your valuables to any trader, and then once you unlock him, it's best you sell it to him. This guy here is just for skins and stuff designer. You won't have to worry about him unless you want to purchase some skins with Robux. Then you move along. across the way here is Mikkel. Mikkel will be your weapons guy. Now, all of these traders have quests you have to accept. When you press F, you can ask them for their missions, and don't forget to turn them in when you're finished. Now, you won't be able to buy as much as I can because I did a lot of the quests, but as you do the quests, you unlock things. Inside of here, there are certain things that are barter only, like this weapon takes a watch, and this foul takes 2 CPUs, so just keep that in mind. If it's blacked out like that, it's because it's a barter. Now, the one thing that confused me when I first started, I couldn't figure out how to sell because I guess I'm blind and I didn't realize this little button right here. So if you press this little button right here, you can switch between sell and buy. Now, to sell, you would just hold Z and click an item and it goes into here. Now, since these are closed and this is the gun trader, it says he won't buy it, right? He's not interested. So I'll just take that back out. Now, if we go over here to Blaze, Blaze is where you get all your clothing and gear and stuff like that. Now, Blaze will buy these clothes. Hit exchange. Boom, I got some rubles for those clothes, right? In the tent here is the medical lady. At first, you won't be able to buy anything except for bandages, I believe. So you better do her quest really fast because meds are really important early game. Then we take a trip back here, and this is where you can change your appearance at the barber. She has some quests, but pretty much her quests just give you money, so it's not really a big deal if you complete them or not. And then this guy too will also give you quests for like killing people and stuff, but he is your other teleporter into the maps. All right, moving back to the workbench. When I first started, I could buy parts for guns, but I could not figure out how to use the workbench. And it was hard to find a video that actually showed me how it works. So most of your guns, other than pistols and some SMGs, will need multiple parts. AKs and M4s will need 3 parts to where other guns might only need 2, like an SKS or something. So for example, we will buy the SKS. This will only be the body of the gun. See, it says buy separate front and stock. So it just lets you know. So you buy that, then you gotta go find your SKS stock. So yours will say what it is. Mine is bugged right now, so I have no names, but luckily I know what the parts look like. So don't worry. Your parts will say what they are and it will make life a lot easier. So now when I come over to the workbench, open the workbench with F, right click the gun, if you're on PC anyways, and click modify. Now, when you go into modify, you are able to drag the stock to the stock and the front to the front. For all these slots, the flashlights, the suppressors, the sights, you don't need to be in the workbench, but you can do it in here, but you don't need to be. It does not require a workbench. Now the gun works, okay? If I was to take these parts off, or even just one part, and I pull this gun out, it will say up at the top of the screen, equipped item is not fully operational. This will not fire. So just keep that in mind. Next, I will show you how to enter a raid. Whenever you're in the metro, there will be 2 explorers. You can go to either one, and if you and your friends are at separate ones, that's fine. You can still enter the same raid like that. So press talk to the explorer, ask him to take you to the surface, and it will present you with servers. Now, when you're starting out, you're obviously going to want to click this here. You're going to want to go for low pop servers. City 13 is a map that if you don't pay for premium, then you need to unlock with missions. So you have to unlock a certain mission and that will unlock City 13. It's a mission for boss. Anyways, you'll be able to play Estonia from the beginning, but you won't be able to play premiums or veterans. Veterans, you have to have 75 hours on the game, and premium, you need to buy premium. I will show you where that is right after this. So you pick low and then you select the server. If you want to go with a friend, you have to invite him over here and he has to join. When he joins, it will add him to your party down here, and that's how you'll know that he successfully joined. So you press invite, he joins, this will move to 2 out of 4, and then you'll be ready to go and raid. I had a lot of trouble with this at first because I didn't notice this over here, and me and my friend were constantly loading in without each other. So this is a big tip. All right, now we head back to designer. This is where you can purchase elite. So prime will give you extra storage and city 13, I believe, but elite gives you extra storage, city 13, and the premium servers. And the premium servers are just better because there will be less cheaters, obviously, because they don't want to pay this every time they get banned. Okay, so as I mentioned about city 13, if you're wanting to unlock city 13, in your missions here under journey, you will want to do the nurse's missions first. Once you get to a certain point in the nurse's missions, she will unlock boss. And then once you start to do boss's missions, you want to get all the way up to this one here called distress signal. After completing distress signal, you will then successfully unlock city 13. Inside of city 13 are more missions. By completing those missions, you will unlock a trader called the broker. Now, the broker has a lot of barter items that are really good. You could trade a stick of gold for a thermal image scope. These trades are really good, but it is really risky to take items in and to successfully extract with what you've paid for. Next, we will be moving on to the Project Delta Wiki. When you get to the page, if you scroll down, you will see the section that says Map. Click on the map. Then you'll see on the left side here, you have the option for an interactive map. Let's click that. Then on the left of this interactive map, which you can zoom in and zoom out of, there will be filters. I usually start by turning all the filters off. Now you have a clean slate. When you first start, you won't have a compass or a dagger, but you will unlock the map after your first mission. Then you can come here and you could click extracts. Now you know where all the extracts are on the map. So for example, let's say you end up at the gas station right here. You could take the road and extract from there. So it's not that hard. You know, you end up at the factory. You know, there's an extract north, south, and one up here. All right, then let's go back to the filters. Now, if you're looking to do quests, if you look in here, all of the NPC names are here. For example, here's Mikkel. If you click Mikkel quests, it's going to show you where and what quests they are. So, for example, down here at the airfield, the quest has plane parts, and there's a few others. Exponential growth and exponential growth part 2. So there you go. That's going to make it a lot simpler. You're going to want to use the wiki a lot at first. You can use it for all kind of other things, but I think the map is like the most important part. All right, back to the map and everything. Like I said, once you complete your first mission for Tarna, you will unlock the map. Then after you find a compass, or I think one of the missions actually give you a compass, then you will unlock the compass. Now, these items like the compass and the map can never be lost. The same with the keychain, but you have to find that in raid. The lighter as well. Don't worry about this player. I bought this with some extra points that I had, but this is the main thing right here, the dagger. After completing so many missions, you will be able to get an EDF flare as a reward. If you shoot that EDF flare, every one of those EDF flares drop a dagger. Then once you equip the dagger, you will then be able to see yourself on the map. I'm not going to see myself here, but you will be able to see where you are on the map and your teammates, which is really great. You could also buy this dagger off people if you accumulate some money before you finish the quest. Next, we'll move on to the flares. You can acquire flares by doing the missions or by looting. There will be a black flare called the SPFS. That is a Russian flare that can drop AKs, rockets, all kinds of Russian type weapons. Then you have the orange flares. Those are the EDF flares. These will drop a dagger every time and have the potential to drop all kinds of different NATO weapons, including God weapons. And when we say God weapons, it just means they have like everything on them that you could put on them. All right, next I'm going to explain an aim mechanic that's really cool in this game. So when you're aiming, you can switch between your sight and soft aim. This is what I call it, at least. The soft aim is a lot more accurate than a regular hip fire. So if I fire like with a regular hip fire, it tends to not be that accurate. But if I soft aim, it's a lot more accurate. So I would suggest using this a lot, especially if you do not have an optic. It's better than iron sights. Next, we will discuss repair kits. In the game, there are repair kits, which can be crafted for a certain amount of materials. At first, you will need to have all these materials to craft a repair kit. But eventually, you'll be able to craft the repair kit through Mikkel, and he requires one less yellow screwdriver. So it'll be 2 duct tape instead of 1, no yellow screwdriver, 1 red, 1 wrench, 1 hammer. So it's a bit cheaper and easier to craft through Mikkel once you have the ability to do so. Anyways, the repair kit enables you to fix things. So as long as you have the repair kit inside of your inventory, you can then right-click a weapon and repair it. You can also inspect weapons and repair things on them, like if there was a suppressor that was broken or something like that. Next, we will discuss the keychains. So like I said before, you can acquire one of these keychains by looting. Once you get the keychain, you're able to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keys on a keychain. You can also equip that to a hotbar. So instead of pulling out one single key, you could just press the hotbar and voila, you have all keys that are on the keychain. So any door that is used for one of these keys, you can walk up to it and open it up now. If you do not have a keychain, you will have to hotbar one of your keys. That is the only way to get it to your hand so that it can then be used. There are certain explosives that need to be used the same way, like mines or trip mines or even claymores. Grenades, on the other hand, could be equipped to your hands without needing them on the hotbar, but they still are faster on the hotbar. My next tip will be you always run faster with your knife out. So if you have a long ways to run, be sure to pull your knife out. Next will be the UI when you press tab. So when you open tab, you will then be able to see where all of your clothing and weapons go, then all of your inventory. And if you click this tab up here, it's going to show you your body. That way, if you need to check if your visor's down or something, you can check. But you can also see how cool you look. Then if you go to the Journey tab, you'll see all your quests that you've completed or haven't completed. This is how you find out what you need to be doing. And if you click this tab up here, you can see your stats. Mine are horrible, but let's not worry about that. If you'd like to add a friend to your team, open up this tab and press Team. You can then invite him. He will get a prompted message to join. Once he joins, he will display right here. Another thing I forgot to mention, that is if you select the wrong server, don't worry. Upon entering the server, if it's Estonia, it's going to give you 3 options. 1 to spawn on the west, which I recommend if you're newer. 1 to spawn on the east, which I don't recommend if you're newer because there's a lot more action over there. And then 1 to return back to the metro. That is what you will click if you make a mistake. While spawning on the city, you only have the choice to choose random and then return back to the metro. That wraps it up for the beginner tips and tricks. If I missed anything in this video that anyone thinks should be added, feel free to put it in the comments and I will pin it. That way new players can see it. These are just a bunch of things that I wish somebody showed me when I first started. I was able to find a bunch of them here and there, but nobody did like a long, clear video. So I was like spamming for hours trying to find the information that I needed. I'm the type of person that likes to do the research on the game that I'm playing rather than take endless hours just to figure out certain qualities of life. So if you're like me, you'll probably enjoy this video. And if you enjoy content like this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate the support, and I hope that we can make it to 500 subs here soon. So as always, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.